Welcome to the Avonword. My name is Toni Keller. I graduated in the class of 2020.
And I'm Fabian Vazquez, and I also graduated in 2020. And we're here as special guests in this podcast, the Avonword podcast. And we're here to answer any questions you have. And so far, we got a couple questions of what we went through last year, at the end of last year.
As seniors, and then like how college or the workforce is going for us now amidst COVID. So my initial thoughts when school originally shut down back in March was, this is gonna they were like 2 weeks, and I was like, oh, okay, 2 weeks, then we have spring break, and we'll be back in no time. I had no idea that school was gonna shut down, and that would be the last day and last musical rehearsal for Young Frankenstein back in March. None of us knew, and then, from then on, I think it was just pain doing online classes for the past few months.
Yeah, when school shut down, I was like, yeah, this can't last that long, right? So first the musical got canceled. I was like, okay, all right, we're fine. I can handle one thing. Maybe prom will still be a thing, right? I bought the ticket. I never got my refund, by the way. It was a new thing. I have never taken online classes ever, so it was just pain.
And it was awful because it was like you knew it was your last year, you knew it was your last few months, and it was like you just could not scrounge up any bit of motivation whatsoever to do anything.
You were at your home. Most of the seniors that were already there already had colleges planned. They already got in. So senioritis hit very hard during that last
I already had it pretty bad, and then the last few months I basically gave up, and then all the teachers were just practically begging for any ounce of work from any of us, and I was like, I'm sorry, I'm never like this, but I just can't for the life of me do anything.
Right.
And here we are now, and same things with college. I'm attending Point Park University, and a lot of my classes are online, and then some of my classes are high flex, which is I meet sometimes in person, and sometimes I have Zoom classes. And it's different. I have one class per day for 5 days, and mine are about 3 hours long, so they're a little longer, but I think it's a little easier than high school per se, but it's still hard. They're doing what they can, but it's still rough trying to sit through a 3-hour Zoom session and just get lectured. I think it'd be a little different in person, but
yeah.
Unlike me, who's going to college, Fabian.
I'm a working man at a middle class, in the middle class. Currently, I decided to wait till next semester, mainly because I didn't want to go through the Zoom things. I thought things were going to settle down by January. Looks like that's going to be wrong, but I'm still going to apply to CCAC then. But yeah, right now, currently at my job, if you want to visit me, I'm at Marshall's Cranberry, please. I'm lonely there. It's been rough because you don't really think about it because you're at school and you see everybody with masks and it's forced, right? But at Marshall's you meet lots of different people from lots of different backstories and everything. And when you try to offer them a mask, there's literally 3 responses that can happen. First, it's medical reason. Second, they take the mask, fine. And third one, it's stop, you're disrupting my freedom, go back to China. That's the response I get most of the time. But yeah, I'm currently working so I can save enough money for college. So that's what I'm doing right now. And yeah, I'm just, most of the time I'm working or just in my free time. That's another thing that's been going on recently. Too much free time.
I will say that, yeah.
Too much. You would think that you'd have enough things to do, but it gets so boring most days, especially for me. She has stuff to do. She has homework. I don't. I just go to work, finish, come back, and then I do nothing, which is sad. But yeah, that's been.
Some days are like that for me. Cause my schedule, I literally have classes Tuesday, and I have a class early on Friday, 11:20. None of my classes are early. Word of advice, if you don't want to get up at 8 a.m. to do classes, don't take an 8 a.m. class. Don't think you can will yourself out of bed for an 8 a.m. class. If you can't do it now, don't make a schedule for it later, because you won't be able to get up. One of my friends, all of his classes are 8 a.m.s, and he can't do it. All of my classes are later in the day because I know I can do later. But another word of advice for college, you have a lot of free time. It isn't like you go to school for like 7-8 hours a day and then you go home, do homework, and then you restart the next day. You have classes whenever you schedule them. Usually, because of like Zoom and stuff like that, they're once a week now. And just don't take 8 a.m. classes. And I don't remember what I was gonna say. I totally blanked out. 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 Thanks for editing. Word of advice. There's a lot of freedom in college. You need to learn how to manage it. And since I only have a few classes spread out like for a few days, and they're only like 3 hours, and then I'm done and I have the rest of the day to myself, that's a lot of freedom, and that's kind of dangerous for me since I'm a bad procrastinator. Yeah, it's not too bad now. I'm getting my work done, but you still have a lot of freedom, and you're expected to get your work done, and you have that responsibility. No one's going to be harping on you unless you're missing a lot of work and like you're in danger of like being removed from the class. But other than that, like, it's your responsibility, and it's, in a way, it's easier than high school because it's not like a 9-to-5 job like high school is.
Or an actual job.
It's you show up, go home, do your work, then work on other things that are, you know, pertain to your career or extracurriculars that you are in, and just stuff like that. That is a word of the wise. Just be very careful, because I know when college first started for me, and all my free time, I didn't really do my work. Like, I did it on last second, but just don't do that, because I wasn't aware of all my free time and I didn't know how to manage it. Now I'm trying to manage it, and it's rough, but you'll get there.
Yeah, and if you're considering like waiting a year, like taking a gap year or something, try not to waste too much time, because I may have a lot of free time and I may not have any homework or anything, but I definitely should be looking for scholarships, definitely be looking for financial aid. Any scholarship that really pertains to me, I apply for it, and I hope for the best, because I really don't want to get into too much student debt, especially since I don't have a lot of money. So for those who want to not get too much student debt when you go to college, my recommendation, take at least one semester off so you can work, like, at least just working a $10 hour job can really help, because it helps you pay off most of the student debt like early, because, well, not even that, like, you don't get as much student debt because you can pay for some of the college with the money you saved. Or you could go to CCAC, much cheaper. You still get some education going, and once you got that, you can go to college much easier and much cheaper. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do for when I go to CCAC. But yeah, that's my life right now, 9 to 5.
If you're like me, you applied for student loans, and I already owe the government like $60,000. I took out $20,000, and they said no, 60 over the 4 years. That kind of makes me want to cry, but that's okay. So I hope that, like, when I get out of college, I'm gonna be able to pay those back. But do not forget to do your FAFSA. That thing is so important. Even if, like, you don't think you'll get much money from it, it still, like, helps, like, for you to get, like, any little bit of money you can from the government.
You have to
get as much money as you can from the government. They owe you for doing this to us. They owe you money.
No communist propaganda here, please. No communist propaganda. They owe you money. So do that FAFSA, get your money, even if it's like $2. Get your money, because then they can give you like loans and stuff like that. It's like, wow, thanks, not subsidized loan, but it does help because of like the accruing interest over 4 years, which was my $20,000 turned into $60,000 because of 4 years of interest. And it's a big yikes, but do your FAFSA on time so you can get the money that you need. Because then also, the later the FAFSA goes on, and it like nears the deadline, the less money they're probably going to give you. So you need to do that like right away. But that's just a word of the wise. Don't wait till last minute. I may have done that last year, but I'm definitely not doing that this year with next year's semester, because it's very expensive. College adds up quite quickly. Right.
So at college right now, because of COVID, we have, and Point Park's actually doing quite well in terms of like in comparison to a lot of the other big like colleges and universities, like in the area, like Pitt, Penn, Carlow, and all of those, like in terms of COVID cases, we're doing quite well. We're still having some here and there, but they're like quarantined immediately, and it's not as like we're not having a big outbreak, which I'm very thankful for. But we do have a mandatory mask mandate, where if you're in the building or you're on campus, and the city is basically your campus, you have to be wearing a mask. And then the only way you can take it off is if you're eating or drinking of some sort. And also if you're in like a big group of, well, not even a big group, if you're just in like a group of people, like say maybe like 4 or 5 people, you're still supposed to have your mask on if you're not eating. It's honestly not too bad. I've gotten so used to it because I'm always downtown for my classes and I'm walking everywhere. And there's also like Market Square I walk to all the time and other places like that. And I'm honestly just so used to wearing this thing that like when it's not on my face, I think I'm doing something wrong. And but it's honestly not bad at all. Like really, it's just like second nature at this point. And I'm doing it for like everyone else. I'm gonna wear it. And then I know we have hand sanitizer everywhere. We have hand sanitizer dispensers everywhere. I literally get a bottle of hand sanitizer from the school once a week. It's 2020 census hand sanitizer. Every week I get a bottle of that, and it's just accruing on my desk. I have just a handful of hand sanitizer that I always take with me. But then we have hand washing stations everywhere. We have bathrooms everywhere. A lot of the common areas are split in half, so like a lot of the seating is cut in half. A lot of tables are spread apart, just stuff like that. I mean, it's definitely different. It's not the college experience I imagined back in February and like January when I got into Point Park, but it's definitely an experience nonetheless, even if it is a bit, unorthodox because of the pandemic. But it's definitely nice to see that my college is doing something about, the whole situation and is treating it like seriously, because it is a serious matter, and they're treating it with that level of severity, and everyone else is as well. My school is typically not really a party school anyway, but like there's not really many big parties I hear of or big gatherings. They're usually smaller people getting together, and if they're quote unquote big, I guess they're outside at like the Point or something like that. So everyone's kind of being very cautious about it, which I'm very glad of. I was worried that there's going to be people who won't wear their masks or won't do this or that, and the college also kind of took in consideration that some people might not be willing, and they basically said, if you don't wear a mask, you're out. So I'm kind of glad they did that. But it's different, and I imagine like for you guys it's different as well, coming to school with the mask for like half a day or whatever your schedule is. It's weird, but I mean, you just gotta learn to adapt, and then hopefully within the next year or whenever we can start, relaxing a teeny bit whenever this climbs down per se.
Right. For me personally, at my job, we do have a store policy that people should wear masks. We try to enforce it by giving masks right at the front, and it works for most of the time, because people either forget their mask and they take one, or forget their mask, they go back to their car and get one, or they're pretty chill about it. Sadly, not everybody's like that, and that's one of the disappointing parts of being not in college, is that they can't enforce it. Our store can't enforce it, so you get people that just do not wear a mask simply because they don't want to, and in a more understandable reason, because of medical condition. But even then, people can just lie about it. And I know somebody who does have a medical condition, and she still wears her mask. Like, she always tells me, hey, I don't want to be like one of those people, that just doesn't wear a mask. So it's definitely it sucks, because then I feel uncomfortable, because COVID is serious, and then I have to attend them at the end because I'm a cashier. So every time I see somebody in the line just without a mask, I have to tell one of my coworkers, hey, could you please take care of them? I don't feel comfortable serving them. So it's definitely been an experience. I've already gotten used to wear a mask, because I have to wear them every day, all day for 9 to 5. So it's not that bad for me. it's just bad that I have to deal with other people who can't like handle that.
That's typically the problem. Is like it's pretty, I think, comical that like especially like our age, it's like no problem wearing the mask at all, and then you just encounter people, and it's just like, but why? Like it's just a why. Like why are you not? Like it's not for you. Like it's for the people around you. You don't understand.
Look, and like you know what's even worse than not wearing a mask? It's wearing the mask, but just like having it right here at the bottom.
Wrong.
Like, hey, what's up?
No, I don't like when people wear it down here, like under your nose. Gosh. It's like that defeats the whole purpose of why you're wearing it. You might as well not be wearing it at that point.
Right.
If you're gonna do that. But no, masks are definitely, at least in my experience, at first I was like, this is kind of meh, like, you know, I'm wearing it because it's what everyone's wearing, and you know, it's what we have to do. And then like over time I'm like, oh, you know, mask on. Out the door, I'm near people, mask on. Well, I'm in my, you know, dorm room, take it off. You know, I basically have my mask on for probably 70% of my day. When I'm not eating or like in my room, I basically have my mask on, and it's just so routine at this point that, you know, just wear your mask and wear it correctly. Please. Wear it correctly, please. Or don't wear it at all at that point. The car cruise was bopping. I was driving behind him and he was having a blast. He was outside of the window with Puerto Rican flags and his hat on, screaming, waving them around. Well, there's music blasting in front of us and this big DJ truck. Oh, yeah. And it was really fun.
I think our little group was the best one because we had that DJ truck. It was so hilarious. I was just dancing all over the place in my sunroof, and I didn't even go down inside the car, so I was freezing while I was dancing.
It was a long cruise, and also not on top of that, a lot of us got lost. Oh. So I was kind of calling my friends like, where are you? They're like, oh, we're like over in like near the school still. And I was like, oh, fun. I just finished. I don't know where the rest of the route went. But I definitely drove around my neighborhood a few times with people screaming. And then the second time I went through, they were like, didn't we already see you before? But they still cheered. And then the third time I went around, they didn't cheer for me at all. I was lost. I had to wait and then go back to the school. And then I parked near the field, and I was just like, so is this done? Like, are we done? And then all of us got out of the car and were like, oh no, we're done. We're done. And I think, did we go to Sheets that night?
Yeah, I think the best part of the car cruise was the after part, because I got to hang out with Toni, and I got to hang out with a bunch of my friends, and we just got to reminisce about what happened across the year and our time across like high school. Personally, I don't know if many of you know this, I only came in junior year, so I'm very like happy that I got so many friends and so many memories in the 2 years I was in Avonworth, and I'm just glad that I got that experience. At the end of the day, yeah, I'm disappointed that we didn't get like a proper graduation, or we didn't do musical.
But it was cool.
It was cool at the end of the day. I mean,
like, I don't know if they spent the whole prom budget on the fireworks or like
the fireworks.
What happened, but that was really cool. Really good job on you guys, Avonworth, for doing that. That was wild, and that was really cool, sitting over in the soccer field, watching all those fireworks that were probably a little too close to the cars, but that's okay. It was fun. And I really liked the ceremony. I got to hold my my receipt after 4 years of going to school.
Oh gosh.
But yeah, it was definitely a good time.
It was definitely a good time, and like, even after like all the cancellations and everything, there's always bright stuff. Like the fireworks, that was definitely bright.
The fireworks.
Graduation was fun. All the graduation parties, wow, those were
graduation parties were
memories.
fun.
Those were good memories.
I went to only a few, but the ones I did go to were fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, graduation, the car cruise was really cool. Avonworth, like, you're a G for doing that. That was so cool. You guys didn't have to do that. And then we had like a senior like gift exchange where it's like you adopted a senior, like the parents did, and then they gave you gifts during like the whole shutdown, and like
that was definitely a big pick-me-up for me. Like,
it was definitely a really cool experience, because it was like, we were just sitting there like, what do we do? Like, we graduated, but we don't have a diploma yet, and we're just kind of sitting here, and they definitely did a really good pick-me-up by Well, I don't even think it was Avonworth, but the parents.
Oh yeah, it was
together.
definitely the class, like.
And we kind of adopted each other and got each other gifts, and that was definitely a really cool.
It was definitely a very
thing
amazing
that
experience.
happened.
It was a very good experience.
But no, high school goes by so fast. Like, I'm not kidding. I remember when I came here in 7th grade, which I don't want to talk about. I don't remember that. I blacked that out. But I do remember, especially because I joined theater my sophomore, junior, and senior year, because theater was just such a blast that I couldn't, like, not, like, forget all the fun I had.
Oh, yeah.
And then just, like, senior year was just so fun because I just felt like I don't even know, like...
There were so many good memories.
Yeah,
in that. Like,
there were so many memes. Like, the whole bell, like, the Clash of Clans theme. Like, that was so funny.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm gonna remember that for, like, ever. Because that was just so cool. And only at Avonworth. Like, you know how we always say that's, like, an Avonworth thing? Definitely. We have some Avonworth things only, and the Clash of Clans bell was definitely one of them.
So many good memories.
And like the car cruise, definitely one of them. The fireworks and like all the cool like stuff that we did, like to try and, you know, give some sense of like normalcy to the end of our year, even though it wasn't what, you know, we had expected at all. But
of course
it was definitely a great pleasure to be receiving those. They were definitely gifts at the end of the day, gifts by the school for us, to try and, I guess, apologize for, I mean, and no fault of their own, just this whole pandemic ruining our end of the year. But then, you know, you guys have to go through this weird schedule, and I know a lot of the seniors this year, it's rough.
It's
rough,
yeah.
But you can get through it. College is fun. Wait for college. Like, if you don't like high school or you're not a fan, college is, I think, really fun. I mean,
definitely
probably not now, but with COVID, but it is definitely an experience, and it's just another, you know, chapter of your life where you can just make new memories, and, you know, you can always pull up your Snapchat memories and look at high school any day of the week. College, high school, all of that, like, they're just chapters in your life. You just gotta, but you know what, and relish in them while they're happening, because I feel like I didn't appreciate my early, like, high school years as much, but the end I started to very much. But
yeah, we just met new people, met new friends, and yeah, I think definitely that companionship between each other. That I think the senior class, for me, this was the closest one we've had in years.
Yeah.
Because I remember during like musical and like fall play, all the seniors were definitely best buds. Every single senior. And
we even had hot tub time, which we went to our friend Garen's, and we just all kind of sat like in a small hot tub, all crammed together, and we just talked to each other for hours. That was a good time.
That was a good time. So enough about us.
Yeah.
This is going on Instagram, right?
Yep.
Put down on the comments below what you're gonna be for Halloween. And
be safe. Be very safe.
Be safe. Put down on the comments what you're gonna be for Halloween. Sorry, we were very like annoying.
This is going out after Halloween.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Put in the comments what you were for Halloween.
But in all seriousness, it's crazy that we're Avonworth alumni. I kind of, like, the void months of March until, like, August, I don't remember much, but I do remember thinking, holy crap, I graduated. I am here right now, going to college. It is crazy, but it was fun nonetheless.
So yeah, like, seniors, good luck with your year. Yeah. It's a crazy year, but I know you can do it. If I did it, anybody can. So yeah, that's it. That's Toni.
That is a wrap. My name is Toni.
That's Toni. That's Fabian. And yeah, put in the comments below what you were for Halloween. Let's go.
Don't do it. Don't do it.